Good boss YouTube, 6fthax here. Have for you guys today some Pokemon. This time, yesterday didn't upload Pokemon because I wanted to open up the 51 loot boxes for Overwatch. If you guys didn't check that out, then you can watch that after this video. Of course, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to hammer arm that like button down below. And continuing the food questions of the days, we've done food, we've done drinks, and now we're gonna do desserts. What is your guys' favorite dessert? I love me some ice cream. And speaking of cream, in this matchup, I'm using a pretty creamy team that my boy Matty Brawlick passed me. Cream is how you would like to put it, but this is a pretty fun team. Got some other cool teams that I'm gonna use from him as well in OU that are pretty fun. So going into this matchup, Magearna and Tapu Lele together are extremely terrifying, especially because he's got Mega Sharpedo in the back, which could potentially sweep me late game depending on how things go. So I really have to be careful with that. As I lead off with my Sylvalia, I thought he would either lead off with the Crobat or lead off with the Swampert. He luckily led off with the Crobat, as I'm going to be able to get off the slow parting shot into my Landers, which is really great. Unfortunately though, Matty does not have Speedy Vs on this Landers, and I was actually very close to putting a lot of Speedy Vs on this Landers before I made this team. I think I only changed one thing, and that was me putting E-Speed over Toxic on the Zygarde. But besides that, I didn't change anything. And if I had put Speedy Vs in this Landers here, then I would have been able to outspeed this Arcanine before he was able to poison me this next turn in Earthquake. Although I guess he would have poisoned me either way. I might have been able to U-turn out of there, but because he was faster than me, I decided just staying in here and kind of smacking him with an Earthquake to see how much damage it would do was probably my better play to do. Although in hindsight, I probably could have just hard switch directly into my Tapu Lele. I didn't want to do that on the off chance that he did want to maybe pull a double switch or potentially go for the wall charge, but I guess he really had no reason to do that, as I'm going to go ahead and switch directly into my Tapu Fini this time, expecting him to want to go for the Morning Sun, because this is actually a modest offensive Tapu Fini. It's not running max special attack, and I don't want to put the sets of this team in the description because, like I said, they're my boy Matty Brawlick's teams. However though, I will leave his channel link down below. Definitely check him out, guys. An amazing Draft League player, easily like top 5 probably best Draft League player, so you guys should definitely check him out if you guys like Draft League content. But yeah, I just don't want to give away this team because it is his team. So I'm gonna taunt, which was a really bad misplay on my part. My brain was screaming go for Hydro Pump, but for some reason I taunted there because I thought he would try and get up Stealth Rocks, although in hindsight he really had no reason to risk leaving in a Swampert like that. So that was just a really bad play on my part, because now I don't get any damage on this Tapu Fini, or Tapu Lele, sorry, and my Tapu Fini is modest, so Hydro Pump would have done a pretty good like 35-40% at least, as I'm going to be able to chew the Moonblast and go for the parting shot on his switch into the Swampert. I should have probably brought back in my Tapu Fini here, but I thought by bringing in my Mega B, I could go for the U-turn, get off that chip damage, then bring in my Fini, so then from there I could go straight for the Hydro Pump. Yes, he does get up rocks, which could be a little bit annoying. This shouldn't be too big of an issue for me to deal with, as I'm going to be able to get off a unfortunate crit on the Swampert. I'm not too sure if that crit is going to end up mattering entirely too much in this matchup, as he is just going to take the chance to get up his rocks, and because he switched directly into his Tapu Fini, why do I keep calling Tapu Lele Tapu Fini? Because he switched in Lele into my Fini earlier, I'm thinking, okay, he's probably going to do that now, so I'm going to take this chance to go just straight for the Calm Mind, as he actually stays in, and he's going to go for the Earthquake. Now, the fact that he stayed in had me thinking he's either going to go for the Roar to phase me out, or because he now went for Earthquake, he's just going to most likely sack off the Swampert because it's at low enough HP to where he probably doesn't need it. And if I hadn't got that crit, then I would have been able to smack something this turn with the +1 Hydro Pump. So again, I don't know if that crit really mattered or not, but I definitely would have been able to knock him out there after the +1 if he still left in the Swampert. So either way, down goes the Swampert, in comes Tapu Lele, and I'm thinking, alright, I'm a +1 Spadef, I can easily take a Psychic. I don't really see Psyshock too often on Tapu Lele, so I'm expecting him to just try and Psychic me. Unfortunately though, it turns out that he's got Psyshock. Now, even if I did expect him to have the Psyshock, I have no switch-ins to this monster of a terrifying Pokemon that is Tapu Lele, and then he just barely lives my Hydro Pump. So again, if I had Hydro Pumped earlier instead of taunting, would have been able to get rid of this Lele, which means I wouldn't have to potentially make this odd series of plays. And I don't know what was going through my mind at this time, but I thought that after Leftovers recovery, I would be able to live Stealth Rock. So I was going to sack off my Soul Valley here because, as you can see, it doesn't even live one Psyshock. And I was going to try and get on my Misty terrain to get rid of the Psychic terrain so I could then E-speed with my Zygarde. And then from there, I have Zygarde in and against whatever he wants to bring in. And whether it be Magearna or something else, I can just make the right play from there. But unfortunately, I lose 2 Pokemon to this Tapu Lele, and then I let my Landers just take a huge amount of damage from a huge hit for misplaying and then just thinking I would live Stealth Rock. So, while things are not looking too good for us, there is still a chance I will be able to win this, though, depending on the Magearna set. As long as Magearna is not a Trick Room set or a Shift Gear set, and as long as he's like AV, then we should be in a pretty good spot to still win. So this turn, the thought of going for Substitute crossed my mind, but after thinking about all the other plays I could have made, I thought that that was the worst play I could have made. So I decided to be aggressive and go for the 1,000 arrows. But if I had gone for the Substitute there, I would have been behind a sub against this Arcanine, which means I would have been able to start coiling, and I could have potentially won with my Zygarde here if I had just gone for the Substitute there. But again, it didn't really make any sense because he could have just left in Magearna to try and knock me out. Although at the same time though, he doesn't really want to take too much damage on this Magearna, because as you can see here, it turns out that it is a Shift Gear set. And unfortunately at this point, even though the match is 4-3, it's basically over. There's just nothing I can do to this Magearna. It outspeeds my Zygarde and KOs me after rocks. Mega Bee's knocked out after rocks and at +1, and then there's no way my Porygon Z is going to be living a +1 Flash Cannon, Floral Cannon, or as you can see here, Twinkle Tackle. Him Twinkle Tackling here crossed my mind, but there was really no reason for me to switch out, because even if I brought back in Porygon Z, he'd be at +2 special attack at that point, so there's just no real reason for me to have switched out there. But yeah, Magearna, unfortunately, is just going to drop me on my neck, but that is just how Pokemon goes sometimes. In my defense, though, it did just really misplay. I should have played more aggressively with Tapu Fini, but this is my first time trying out some cream on Wi-Fi, so I apologize, Matty Brawlick. I was not able to use this awesome squad to its full potential, but alas, that is just how things go. So yeah, that is going to be good game to Sharpedo. His channel link is going to be down below. I don't know if he uploads or not, but if he does, I'll leave it down below if I can find it. So definitely check him out, guys. Check out my boy Matty Brawlick again for passing me this awesome squad. Got some other pretty fun teams I want to use on Wi-Fi as well from him. So yeah, make sure to hammer on that like button down below and let me know what you guys like to eat for dessert, because for some reason just the food questions, you guys like the food questions. I like the food questions. It's just I'm hungry again now. So I'm gonna go now. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. Later, guys.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in the knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion, but when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears of hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.